day 9. So today's just gonna be a nice chill video, a little life update, touching on some things that happened back in September, but I haven't really been able to sit down and talk about it, so I'm gonna do that now. So one of the biggest changes to Dawn-louise's life was that she did have to give up her swimming lessons, and it really sucks. She did love swimming. She'd been doing it from 2016 till mid-October this year. So she's been doing it for 3 years, just over, because she started in September 2016. So almost 3 years on the dot. And she did really, really love swimming, and she was so good at it, and it was amazing to see her get all her badges. The only problem was it was getting very difficult with her, because as she's got older, she is getting more tired more easily. She's getting a little bit weaker, and swimming just got too much for her. And despite the fact that in September we had a really great cardiology review and her heart looked as good as it possibly could do with her condition, obviously it's never going to be normal, it's never going to be considered a healthy heart, but for her she's doing okay, she's stable. Unfortunately, it's just got too hard for her. She'd do like a couple of strokes and then she'd be completely blue in the face and really struggling to breathe, and she just couldn't make the lap through half of the pool that she was doing every Saturday. She couldn't make more than 2 strokes doing that anymore. So we gave the opportunity for her to choose when to stop, and that came about 4 weeks later when she realised that she just physically couldn't do it anymore. So unfortunately we're not doing the swimming lessons anymore, which is a shame, but it's for the best. But I have booked us in for a Haven holiday again next year, just a cheap weekend away. And then she'll get to use the pool there, and we can spend a whole day swimming, because obviously with normal swimming baths you've got like a time limit. So for her that doesn't really work too well, because she needs breaks in between. So if we're only there for an hour, she's not going to be swimming for very long. So being able to sort of have the opportunity there for the whole day, and be able to come out and chill when she needs to, is better for her. So I've done that, and I booked that a while ago because there was like a sale on or something. So it's a little bit cheaper, so we're just going for a cheap weekend away later on in the year, and we'll just stick to staying on the campus and letting her sort of, you know, enjoy swimming and the other activities they have to offer. But from now on, most of her swimming is going to be in just like public swim baths and things like that. But it poses like quite a few different challenges for us going to public places, which is why she was doing swimming lessons instead of just like fun swims. So we shall see how that works out, but unfortunately they've had to come to an end. The second biggest change that's come is that during her cardiology review, I was telling them about how Dawn-louise has been struggling with certain aspects of school and my concerns with her going into secondary school, because it's going to have a whole load of new problems. And I had hoped that Dawn-louise might have been able to join a medical school where it's a smaller building and smaller classes, and hopefully that would really help. But unfortunately, because the children that go to medical schools can also have mental disabilities, which could make them aggressive, it poses an incredible risk to Dawn-louise's health. She is on aspirin, so if she gets hit once, it could put her in quite a lot of danger. So we just cannot take that risk. So we have made the decision, together with her school and her cardiologist, who were both very, very much on board, to homeschool Dawn-louise through secondary school, which is a very tough decision, and one I've been trying to put off for as long as possible, because we kind of always knew that we might need to make that decision, even when she started when she was 3.5 years old. So I am eager to have her finish primary school before we make that change, but it's definitely one that I'm not taking lightly. I was really excited to see her, you know, get the school uniform and get her locker and go to prom and do GCSE drama and dance, because I know that she loves that, and that would be an amazing thing for her to do. And to meet friends and learn all kinds of different things, because I know when they do the GCSEs they open it up to a broader spectrum of lessons, so she could have chosen things that she has real interest in, which would have been amazing for her. And I am still quite upset that we've had to make that decision, even though we know that it's for the best. It's just never easy making those decisions where you want like this normal life for them and it's just out of reach all the time. I actually took like a whole notebook full of reasons of why we were thinking about doing that to her school, and they said, you don't need to show me it, we're on board, I understand that you've put a lot of thought into this and I agree it's probably not going to be for the best for Dawn-louise, it is a shame, but it's something that we're going to have to do. I'm not going to go and like run every reason off, but there's just even like really simple things that are more challenging for her, like secondary schools that are bigger buildings, therefore they're harder to heat. She already struggles with the cold, and at the moment she has a blanket in class with 2 fleeces on and thermal, you know, undergarments, and sometimes she even has hot hand warmers and hot water bottles. But I don't really see her getting treated very nicely if she's sat in a class in secondary school with like blankets and stuff on. I feel like that's gonna make her an easy target, and she's already experienced bullying before, and I do not want her to have to go through that again, especially considering that we wouldn't have the option of moving schools because there's only 1 or 2 that she can actually attend, because the buildings down here are not very disabled friendly. So unfortunately it does limit where she could have gone in the first place anyway. And then there's the fact of getting to classrooms and all the children and banging into each other, and she's on aspirins, that's quite dangerous for her. And then keeping her healthy would be so difficult because the children are constantly swapping classrooms and students. There's no way to cut it off. Like at the moment with her being in primary school, they can tell us, oh well, this has happened in this year, but they don't mix, whereas we don't have that option in secondary school because all the year groups are sharing classes and classrooms. So there would be no way for me to know when to keep her home and when to send her in to keep her healthy, which means that she'll probably get sick a lot more and spend a lot more time off. At the moment she does have a trigger tutor that comes from the medical school to do private tutoring with her in our home, so I'm really hoping that there's a way to extend that because it is medical grounds that we are choosing this on. It's solely medical related, so I am hoping that we can get a medical tutor for her so that she can do the curriculum still. Otherwise it is all going to fall on me, which is a lot of pressure. I do not want to let my daughter down because school is so important and her GCSEs are going to be so important, so I don't want to risk her struggling with her work by doing this. But there's just too many reasons that going to secondary school is just not going to work for her. So I've got 2 years, this year and next school year, to figure out how best to go around this. We've got a meeting with the school and the council at the end of the year to try and figure out if we can get her tutors and things, which hopefully we will be able to do. At the end of year 5 is when you go and choose your secondary schools, or at least that's what they've told me, which seems a little early, so I'm not 100% sure if that is it, or if you go like look at them at the end of year 5 and then choose at the start of year 6, I'm not sure. But we're going to have a meeting and try and find as much support as we can for her so that going through that is not going to dampen her education at all. But at the moment we've had a downward trend in things like attendance and stuff, and it's purely because she's just too sick or there's too many bugs going around the school. So what I'm worried about is that if we go to secondary school, she's not going to be at enough lessons to cope because she's avoiding people's illnesses, and it's going to be so much harder, or she's going to be sick so much more because we can't avoid them. So it's quite scary because homeschool isn't a big thing in England like it is in America. I have started looking into it and done my research, and I do know that there's a lot of groups, so we can definitely go out and meet other homeschool families, and hopefully that will really help. And the social aspect we kind of have covered because she's a really social child anyway. We go and meet a lot of heart families, and she does a lot of after school activities, so she's going to have plenty of opportunities to work with other children and to you know, develop her social skills as well. So I kind of feel like we've got that covered. But yeah, it's going to be a big change for both of us, and something that I'm going to spend a lot of time figuring out. But that's the update for now anyway, and I'm going to go because I actually don't feel that well today. I've got a really sore throat and stuff, but I just kind of wanted to talk about it because this channel is showing, you know, what life is like for us. So I kind of thought that this was an important thing to add, but I am starting to lose my voice, so I think I'm going to have to cut it here. But thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.